Long ago, my role in these talks has been to shed light on certain urges and influences that stir within people's souls and find expression in their earthly lives. I've delved into how these forces unfolded at the outset of modern spiritual existence. Today, my aim is to draw your attention to a specific facet of contemporary spiritual aspirations, revisiting a pivotal origin of modern spiritual life, one of the most vital and crucial elements. When we explore the forces shaping modern souls, it becomes clear that the history and evolution of the Knights Templar Order hold immense importance. Let's revisit the Knights Templar Order to illustrate how its influence has continued to flow broadly, seeping into the emotions and perceptions of individuals even in our times. The Templars, linked to the Crusades, emerged as a significant accompaniment to the European quest during that historical period. Setting aside the external facts easily found in history books, we focus on the inner dimension of the order. It becomes apparent that the Knights Templar, when viewed from a spiritual standpoint, epitomize a profound connection between modern humanity and the mystery of Golgotha. Picture this, a small group of devout Christian souls gathering near the ancient Temple of Solomon in Jerusalem during the early days of the Crusades. They establish a spiritual order, not just as an external occurrence, but as a manifestation of what started to resonate within the Templars' souls. In their very essence, in their blood, in their sense of self represented by their eye, and in every facet of their thoughts and feelings, these souls sought to transcend their ties to the physical world. Their existence was dedicated to dwelling solely in the currents flowing from the mystery of Golgotha. Their mission was to champion the enduring forces intricately linked to this profound mystery. The blood coursing through the veins of the Templars was not merely their own. They knew it belonged solely to Christ Jesus. Every heartbeat, every moment of their existence, resonated with the perpetual awareness articulated by Paul, "Not I, but Christ in me." Engaged in fierce battles and devoted to the demanding tasks of the Crusades, the Templars translated their spiritual resolve into practical reality. It's difficult to encapsulate in words the depth of what pulsated within these men. They stood unwavering in their duty, facing physical adversaries with a calm readiness for death, an ultimate sacrifice to anchor more firmly in earthly existence, the impulse emanating from the mystery of Golgotha. Theirs was an intense life, a complete union of the human being with the profound mystery of Golgotha. When such an intense life aligns itself with the right rhythms, seamlessly blending into the cosmic and earthly forces, something of genuine significance unfolds. This significance is not a mere abstraction, it is a living reality. Placing such consciousness inwardly, mystically and rhythmically into the tapestry of the outside world allows individuals to repeatedly experience the connection of their inner being with the divine and spiritual realms. Yet, the impact multiplies when this inner experience converges with the course of external history, contributing to the unfolding of events. The conscious life within the souls of the Knights Templar was intended to harmonize with the endeavor to reclaim power over the sacred grave. A deeply mystical life flourished within this so-called spiritual order, uniquely positioned to accomplish more for the world than other spiritual orders. In this mystical existence, where the inner experience intertwines with the broader world, the subjective becomes objective. The mysticism of the Templars wasn't confined to individual souls. It metamorphosed into objective forces, previously absent in the spiritual stream sustaining humanity. This mystical force wasn't a personal possession, but a contribution to the invisible and supersensible forces shaping the surrounding world. Through Templar mysticism, an evolution occurred. Just as a person contributes tangible objects to the world through daily tasks, the Templars added something spiritual to the ethereal effects of the world. In doing so, humanity advanced a stage in its evolution. Through the Templars' experience, the mystery of Golgotha was comprehended and lived at a higher level, introducing a spiritual presence into the world that hadn't existed before. Through their intense inward journey into the mystery of Golgotha, the souls of the Templars achieved more than meets the eye. Beyond the external rituals described in our literature, they gained the power to undergo Christian initiation through the unfolding of historical events. The external deeds and fervour that animated these deeds drew forth the souls of the Templars, allowing them to transcend their physical forms and join the spiritual progression of humanity. In this state, the souls delved into the secrets of the mystery of Golgotha, undergoing profound and collective experiences, not just for themselves, but for all of humanity. As the order of the Knights Templar expanded and spread, accumulating both immense spiritual influence and considerable wealth, a pivotal turn of events approached. The external treasures amassed by the Templars were destined to be transformed into temporal power. I've previously detailed how, through an initiation involving the sinister principle of gold, Philippe le Bel emerged as the chosen instrument to confront the Templars. His primary motive was to seize their treasures, but Philippe le Bel possessed an uncommon understanding of the human soul, gained through his experiences. Thus, he became a fitting instrument for Mephistophelian Ahrimanic powers, with a mission to undermine the Templar movement in its original form. Philippe le Bel, as we've noted, served as the instrument of these spiritual Mephistophelian Ahrimanic powers. Guided by their inspiration, he comprehended the consequences if the spiritual streams that course through the world, as truly as outwardly visible events, were infused with the Templars' knowledge and sentiments connected to the mystery of Golgotha. The progression that had unfolded had to be redirected from its divine spiritual course. It needed to be diverted onto alternative paths. This required the extraction of something that could only thrive in the souls of the Templars, a severance from their individuality. Similar to how the Templars' experiences with the mystery of Golgotha transcended individuality and contributed to the broader human evolution, another aspect had to be extracted from their individuality and incorporated into the objective spiritual stream. This profound transformation, however, necessitated a particularly cruel and terrible act of cruelty. The trial of the Templars unfolded with grave accusations. Not only were they falsely charged with external crimes, claims that historical evidence, if considered with an open mind, would easily refute, but more significantly, they were accused of blaspheming Christianity and the mystery of Golgotha. Accusations ranged from idol worship to infusing paganism into the mystery of Golgotha, from alleged errors in the consecration formula during transubstantiation to desecration of the cross. The charges extended to various other crimes, including unnatural ones, leading to the cruel torture of hundreds of Templars on the rack. Those responsible for their trial understood the impact of the rack's torture. The ordinary consciousness of those subjected to this agony was suppressed, causing them to forget their connection with the mystery of Golgotha during the torture. However, those who truly perceive the spiritual world, as the Templars did, confront trials and temptations when approaching the divine spiritual powers. These adversaries, emanating from lower spiritual realms, aim to lead individuals astray, manipulating impulses, desires, passions, and especially hatred, mockery, and irony against the good. The Templars had faced these challenges and achieved inner victories during sacred moments of their lives, navigating the worlds beyond the sensory threshold. These worlds had to be conquered before one could enter the spiritual realms where one rightfully belongs. Yet during torture, the Templars' visionary gaze over these spiritual worlds dimmed, their surface consciousness dulled, focusing solely on the temptations they had conquered. In the midst of torture, they momentarily forgot their connection with the mystery of Golgotha, losing awareness of their soul's existence in the eternal and spiritual realms. Trials and temptations, conquered by their inner strength, manifested before them as visions on the rack. In this harrowing state, each Templar confessed to practices that they had triumphed over internally, acknowledging them as customary within the order. They feigned guilt for what they had already overcome. Every Templar was compelled to appear as the person over whom they had gained inner victory, a necessary step before attaining the highest and holiest with higher spiritual forces. It's crucial to note that while speaking of true Templars, instances of abuse can occur in any group. The adversaries of the Templars were well aware of the intricate dynamics at play. Just as the mystery of Golgotha had been introduced into the evolution of humanity as a positive influence, now, because the ordinary consciousness of the Templars had been dulled through torture, what resided in this clouded consciousness was externalized. It became an objective force embodied in the ongoing course of human history, shaping its trajectory. Two distinct streams thus flowed into modern history, one comprising the Templars' experiences in their holiest moments, their contributions to the progressing spiritual stream of humanity, and the other, extracted by Ahriman Mephistopheles, transformed into an objective force and integrated into the unfolding centuries. At this juncture, a simple-minded question might arise. Why do the divine spiritual powers of providence allow such trials? Why not guide humanity through history without subjecting individuals to such painful ordeals? This line of thinking is human, perhaps all too human, emerging from a belief that the world would be better if shaped by human hands rather than divine forces. Many may entertain such thoughts, believing their intellect can critique the wisdom weaving through the world. Yet this mindset can lead to the extreme of intellectual pride. Our task as humans is to delve into the secrets of existence, not to criticize the wisdom-filled guidance of the world. Insight is required into the place and significance of the permitted evil currents. If only good were allowed to prevail in history, if only positive impulses were at work, humanity would never be guided toward developing true freedom. It is precisely through the existence of evil in the spiritual course of human history that freedom can flourish. Were the gods to shield humanity from the gaze of evil, individuals would forever remain automatons, devoid of freedom. The progression of humanity is orchestrated in such a way that even the deepest sorrows ultimately lead to good. Pain, while temporary, is profound, and we must not deceive ourselves about its nature. Rather, we must be prepared to embrace it, immerse ourselves in it, and let it permeate our souls. Simultaneously, without criticizing the spiritual purpose and will of existence, we must grasp how diverse impulses, both positive and negative, are introduced into human evolution to enable individuals to become not only good, but also free, with ownership of their own impulses. In the evolution and destiny of the Templars, we encounter an impulse that resonates through the succeeding centuries of modern times. If the initial intensity and strength with which the purpose of the order was first lived by the great Templars had persisted, subsequent humanity would not have been able to bear the weight. The speed of evolution had to be restrained, the stream had to be held back. This restraint, however, led to a more inward development. Thus, in modern history, we witness the coexistence of deep inwardness alongside external materialism. The Mephistophelian impulse, forcibly extracted by Mephistopheles Ahriman through his instrument Philippe le Bel, endured. It persisted, entwined with materialistic thoughts, feelings, and impulses spanning from the 15th to the 19th century. Consequently, materialism spread widely across the soul, spirit, and social life of humanity, laying the groundwork for the karma of our present time. However, had this unfolding not occurred, had materialism not permeated so extensively, our connection with the spiritual world would not have reached such profound depths. What the Templars achieved by spiritually entering the mystery of Golgotha was not lost. It endured. After the terrible trials on the rack, during which 54 Templars were put to death, their souls traversed the portal of death. These souls, now in the spiritual world, began sending streams of spiritual life to those living in the subsequent centuries. In 1314, 54 Templars were burned at the stake, and 54 souls ascended into the spiritual realms. From that point onward, imperceptibly to the outward facts of history, a spiritual development commenced in European humanity. This development originated from individual souls continually receiving inspiration from the spiritual world through what these 54 souls brought with them through the gate of death. Allow me to offer an example of this phenomenon, one I have mentioned before but will now elaborate on from a different perspective. A century prior to the tragic events in the Templar Order, around 1312, Wolfram von Eschenbach crafted his epic poem, Parsifal. Working either alone or in a very small circle, Wolfram wove a tale of a soul striving for a higher life through inner purification, a goal that the Knights Templar continuously held before them. In this rich tapestry of imagery and imaginative narrative, Wolfram unfolds the inner life of Parsifal, whom he saw as the embodiment of the Templar ideal. Now let's ponder. Do we observe any significant external outcomes stemming from Parsifal, the representative of the Templar ideal, in the historical development of subsequent times? The answer is no. In the further history of European humanity, it was Richard Wagner who reintroduced Parsifal, but in a different manner. However, the spiritual power and impulse that flowed into Wolfram von Eschenbach's soul, drawn from the earth at that time, became an inspiration from the spiritual world for many others in the succeeding centuries. For those attuned to the mysterious connections between earthly and spiritual life, it's known that the impulses carried into the spiritual world through the destiny of the Templars also influenced the soul of Goethe. Goethe initiated a poem in the 1880s titled The Mysteries, where Brother Mark ventures to the isolated castle of the Rosicrucians, entering the Circle of the 12. Although Goethe captured, in his own unique manner, the fundamental thought also found in Parsifal, he never completed the poem. This fact may be seen as an indication that all of us are part of the same spiritual development Goethe experienced in its beginnings. We must continually work to give shape to these beginnings and progress further in penetrating the spiritual world. Goethe dedicated the best powers of his existence to the initial phases of this spiritual development. He infused these beginnings into his Faust, where he sought to depict humanity's connection with spiritual forces, including those of the Ahrimanic Mephistophelian nature. The unfinished poem, The Mysteries, stands as a reminder that we too stand within this ongoing spiritual development, requiring persistent effort and work to advance in our understanding and exploration of the spiritual realms. When one observes history with a concrete focus on its spiritual development, a clear connection emerges. What the Templars, who met a cruel yet significant death, carried into the spiritual worlds followed into the soul of Goethe on earth. The Templars' passage through the gate of death allowed them to bestow inspiration into the souls of humanity. This inspiration flowed not only into Goethe's soul, but into many others as well, albeit often unnoticed by the majority. Even the spiritual essence within Goethe's Faust often escapes widespread recognition in the external world. Nevertheless, it endures, moving toward a richer life and demanding increased fruitfulness if humanity is to progress upward instead of sliding into decadence. The choice rests in our hands in this era. It is presented to humankind and will become more explicit, whether to succumb to decadence and adhere to materialism or to strive upwards into the spiritual realms. As earthly beings, we live a life connected to the earth primarily in our physical bodies. The body woven from light, sound and life, known as the ether body, participates not only in the life of earth, but also in the broader cosmic existence. When a human soul descends from the spiritual worlds to embark on earthly existence through birth, cosmic forces are already directed in the right way for the construction of the etheric organism. This parallels how the physical body is fashioned from the physical forces and substances of earth. In the simplest of human ideas, pride and arrogance often reside, a tendency particularly accentuated in our materialistic age. Amid this materialistic era, there's a prevalent belief among parents that they alone are responsible for bringing their children into existence. However, from a spiritual perspective, the reality is different. Humans on earth merely create the conditions for something spiritual to descend. What a human being contributes as a participant is the ability to prepare a space through which an ether body, being fashioned from the vast reaches of the cosmos, can descend to earth. This etheric organism is as organized as the physical organism, with the physical body serving as a vessel for the radiance of the etheric body. The physical organism, discernible in its anatomical and physiological aspects, is illuminated and enlivened by the etheric organism for those with spiritual vision. Analogous to how the physical body breathes in air and exhales air, the etheric body breathes out light, providing it to us. As it breathes out light, sustaining us with its luminosity, it also breathes in light. Just as we breathe in and out air, the ether body breathes in and out light, consuming it in the process, much like our physical consumption of air. This secret of the etheric world is dramatically unfolded in a passage in my mystery dramas. The etheric body breathes in light, utilizes and transforms it into darkness, and can then receive the sound of the worlds present in the harmony of the spheres. Similar to how we receive physical nourishment, the etheric being within us breathes light in and out. It depletes the light, infusing it with darkness, resulting in the manifestation of colours. Through this inner process of breathing, the etheric body prepares the light for darkness, and in doing so, it carries out a transformative work. Simultaneously, it lives by receiving the sound of the worlds and transmuting it into the life of the worlds. The ether body that we receive follows a distinct trajectory, descending upon us from the vast expanses of the cosmos, and it arrives during specific times from those far-reaching cosmic spaces. Presently, it is not feasible to elaborate on all the details of how the human ether body descends along the paths of light, particularly when these paths are guided through specific configurations of stars at a given time. To delve into this mystery and understand the indrawing of human ether bodies on the paths of light and sound from the harmony of the spheres would necessitate a higher stage of morality among humanity. Revealing this mystery prematurely would risk misuse, especially by those with lower impulses, granting parents an unprecedented power over their descendants. Such abuse could strip individuals of independence, personality, and individuality, imposing the will of their parents upon them. Consequently, this mystery must remain veiled for the foreseeable future, accessible only under specific conditions to prevent its misappropriation. Failing to meet these conditions could lead to the potential misuse of immense parental power. The mystery of how ether bodies approach incarnating human beings on the paths of light and sound from the harmony of the spheres remains concealed for now. It resides within the unconscious, operating wisely and healthily, guided by the will of the wise world guidance. The journey of our ether body differs significantly from that of our physical body. After passing through the gate of death, we retain our ether body for a few days before returning it to the cosmos. In the spiritual realm, our ether body endures as a pictorial representation for our continued existence between death and rebirth. It becomes incorporated into the cosmos in various ways, with distinctions for individuals who experience early deaths due to accidents or other causes, and those who reach maturity. When peering beyond the threshold into the world that lies there, one comprehends the profound significance of both early and later deaths within the broader cosmic context. The ether body, relinquished by us, persists in its spiritual work. From a profound perspective, aging is a universal experience for all of us. While individuals may perish at different times physically, spiritually, we all undergo a similar aging process. Even if one's physical demise occurs prematurely, the ether body persists in living on for the cosmos, adapting its functions based on the timing of death. When considering the total years lived by individuals in their physical and ether bodies, encompassing their deeds on earth, post-death activities in the ether body, and the life lived for others and the world, a commonality emerges. Despite the varying durations of physical existence, the sum total of years lived by individuals tends to align. However, events like those involving the Templars introduce a different dynamic compared to individual life experiences. The actions and influences of individuals, such as the Templars, extend beyond their personal lives and become objectively separable. The impact of their efforts on the continuity and dissemination of the mystery of Golgotha, as well as the consequences of Mephistophelian Ahrimanic forces fostering the impulse of modern materialism, persists as fragments of the ether body. These fragments become incorporated into the grand tapestry of history. Thus, some aspects of an individual's life in the ether body continue with the human individuality, while others become integrated into the unfolding course of history through the described process of detachment. The ether body serves as the medium through which the soul's objectively lived experiences, capable of departing the soul, find something to grasp onto for their ongoing existence. The ethereal continuation of the spiritual impulses of the Templars played a crucial role in preparing many souls to receive the inspirations emanating from the spiritual world, as previously described. This ongoing etheric life has been a significant phenomenon in the unfolding of modern times. As the spiritual impulses from the souls of the Templars continued to flow, a shift occurred over time, allowing the infiltration of Mephistophelian Ahrimanic influences. This transformation was particularly evident in the methods employed during the torture of the Templars, where they were coerced into uttering untruths about themselves under extreme duress. Understanding this fact, not in isolation, but as a contributing spiritual factor to the emergence of modern materialism, is crucial for gaining an internal comprehension of the materialistic evolution that followed. In the tapestry of modern times, while certain individuals were being inspired by profound spiritual truths, the broader cultural milieu gradually adopted a more materialistic character. The soul's vision dimmed concerning the spiritual realities that surround us and the realms we enter through the gates of death and birth. Man's gaze shifted increasingly from the spiritual to the material, affecting various spheres of life, including spirituality, religion, and social dynamics. The consequence of this shift has been the proliferation of errors since the rise of modern times. It is essential to clarify that this observation is not a criticism or judgment. Rather, it underscores the developmental necessity of errors in human evolution. Through grappling with and overcoming these errors, individuals can cultivate stronger forces than would have been possible through an automated and error-free path. The present moment calls for a heightened awareness, urging individuals to recognize the presence of error-laden impulses within the material realm. Today, humanity is tasked with the continuous endeavor to discern and transcend these errors, fostering a path towards greater insight and spiritual growth. Our intention is not to assign blame to historical events, but rather to objectively examine them. In the course of modern times, human thoughts and feelings have become increasingly bound to external physical reality, limited to experiences between birth and death. Even religious life, in more recent times, has taken on a personal character, primarily offering a means for individuals to find blessings within their own souls. This modern religious perspective, redirecting attention away from the concrete spiritual world, is imbued with a materialistic outlook. Our aim is to describe historical events in a manner that fosters a proper understanding, ensuring that the coming generation does not descend into decadence, but instead takes an upward turn. The stream of materialism flows alongside a hidden parallel stream. At the close of the 18th century, a momentous event, the French Revolution, unfolded and exerted its influence throughout the 19th century and into the present time. While historians have depicted many aspects of the French Revolution, we must also recognise the spiritual effects of materialistic Mephistophelian Ahrimanic impulses associated with it. Despite the high ideals pursued by the French Revolution, we need to understand the simultaneous presence of these spiritual influences. Our goal is not to criticise but to comprehend historical events. The French Revolution, in its pursuit of lofty ideals, occurred in a time overshadowed by the preceding events discussed. These events left Mephistopheles Ahriman with the power to propagate the impulse of materialism in European life. It is noteworthy that even the noblest figures associated with the French Revolution were, to a large extent, conscious only of the physical plane. While individuals may profess beliefs with words, the essence lies in having a live consciousness that perceives the true forces at work in the world. Those responsible for the French Revolution were primarily conscious of the physical realm, and this awareness shaped the course of their actions. The individuals who played pivotal roles in the French Revolution, while striving for high ideals, were unaware of the Trinity within human nature. At the close of the 18th century, the prevailing view of humanity aligned with the perspectives of modern materialistic physiology and biology, which focus solely on the physical aspects of existence, those experienced between birth and death. Even if people spoke of a spiritual life in religious terms, their actual attention remained fixated on the external physical world. This limited perspective, though understandable when contemplating the external physical body, fails to grasp the entirety of the human being. To comprehend the complete human being, one must recognize the union of the external physical body with the etheric, astral, and I principles. While existing in the physical world, human beings encompass elements of soul and spirit that belong to the spiritual realm. In this physical world, we are body, soul, and spirit, a trinity. After passing through the gates of death, we become threefold beings once again, but now with a different spiritual body. Observing and studying only the physical aspects of human life between birth and death leads to a partial understanding and potential errors regarding the complete human being. It is crucial to acknowledge that events in the world manifest as truth, but the interpretation and application of this truth by humans can lead to confusion. At the end of the 18th century, confusion arose because lofty ideals were aspired to, without an understanding of the Trinity within human nature. The ideals of brotherhood, freedom, and equality, while admirable, only hold true significance when connected to the body, soul, and spirit, respectively. Brotherhood pertains to the physical body, freedom to the human soul, and equality to the I, or spirit within the human being. Only by recognizing the threefold nature of human existence can one truly grasp the inner meaning of these spiritual ideals. Brotherhood, as a concept, finds its natural place in the physical realm, as we, physical human beings, bear bodies of the earth. When we incorporate brotherhood into our social order, it becomes a right and true element for the physical plane. Freedom, on the other hand, is a quality that man can acquire only within his soul, as it is with the soul that he incarnates on earth. True freedom prevails and is possible on earth when it pertains to the souls of individuals living in social orders. In this context, individuals strive to develop the ability to balance the lower and higher forces within their souls. To attain freedom, human beings must establish not only a social order, but also a soul order on earth. In this soul order, individuals take their individual places and work towards developing the forces of freedom. These forces are crucial not only for the period between birth and death, but also for the life beyond death. The key lies in preparing oneself for the afterlife during one's earthly existence, establishing a true interaction between souls, fostering the development of soul forces, and aligning all human events and creative endeavours with the aim of balancing spiritual forces become essential ideals. Human beings achieve freedom when they can acquire these soul forces in the external physical world. This acquisition happens through activities like appreciating the beautiful forms found in art that originate in the spirit. True freedom also emerges through meaningful interactions and communion between souls. This communion should be characterized by an ever-growing understanding and love between individuals. In dealing with the bodies of individuals, brotherhood becomes significant. When addressing the realm of the soul, forging delicate and subtle connections between souls takes precedence. These connections must permeate the structure of our earthly life, fostering deep interest in one soul for another. It is through these means that souls can attain true freedom, as freedom is a quality inherent to the realm of the soul. Equality, when applied to the external physical world, becomes nonsensical, as it implies uniformity, and the world is characterized by change, multiplicity, and variety. Everything in the physical world undergoes transformations and expresses itself in diverse forms. However, within the multiple and manifold aspects of human life, there is a unique element that remains constant, the I, which is in its beginning stage during our life on earth. The rest of our human nature has evolved since the times of Saturn, Sun, and Moon, while the I is a recent development in our earthly existence. Throughout our life between birth and death, our spiritual development reaches only to the acknowledgement of the I. This unique aspect becomes fully perceptible, either outside the body through initiation, or after passing through the gate of death, when we can spiritually behold our I. The diversity of human individuality is expressed through the various manifestations of individual I's. The shared focal point of the eye provides a common ground for the development of mankind and community life. While each individual contributes something unique, the fact that we all possess the eye allows for the sharing of experiences and spiritual communication. In this way, equality is fundamentally a spiritual concept. The three ideals of brotherhood, freedom, and equality cannot be realized in the life of mankind without understanding the threefold nature of body, soul, and spirit within each individual. The failure of past generations, particularly in the 18th and 19th centuries, to comprehend this threefold nature can be attributed to the influence of the Ahrimanic Mephistophelian stream, as described in the Spiritual Evolution. The 18th century erroneously applied equality, freedom, and brotherhood to external physical life, leading to confusion. In the 19th century, this misunderstanding has the potential to result in social chaos. To avoid drifting further into chaos, mankind needs the guidance of spiritual science and spiritual life, which can provide an understanding of man as a trinity and lead to the reconstruction of earthly life for the threefold nature of man. Mankind's journey through materialism was a necessary phase, a crucial step in its evolution. To grasp the significance, let's cast our minds back to an event during the Lemurian epoch, thousands of years in the past. In that era, humanity looked vastly different from its current form. Occult science details the gradual infusion of various impulses into human evolution. At a particular juncture, which remains ancient in our historical timeline, magnetic and electric forces made their presence known within humanity. These forces, especially the electrical forces associated with galvanism and voltaism, became integrated into human life, intertwining with the spiritual essence between nerve functions and blood circulation. The forces of magnetism and other electrical aspects were known earlier, but the electrical forces in galvanism and voltaism remained hidden within humans for a prolonged period. It's worth noting that galvanism, the electricity of contact, has a profound impact on the karma of our age, a fact often underestimated. The discovery of galvanism occurred merely at the turn of the 18th and 19th centuries by scientists like Galvani and Volta. Ponder for a moment. Galvani, experimenting with a frog's leg, accidentally attached it to a window, triggering twitches when it came into contact with iron. This seemingly chance occurrence marked the inception of the discoveries that currently govern our world through the electric current. The thought emerges in an individual's mind almost miraculously, stumbled upon and discovered almost by chance. In our materialistic age, these reflections seldom find a place in our thoughts. The failure to contemplate such phenomena prevents us from understanding the genuine development of the earth. The truth lies in the fact that, as mankind progressed through the Lemurian epoch, it experienced a pivotal moment when the forces now present in electricity were implanted into human beings. This was not a linear progression, but a cyclical movement, where time, akin to movements in space, followed curves and lemniscate patterns. During Lemurian times, humanity stood at the crossing point of the lemniscate, imprinting itself with the principle of electrical force. In subsequent epochs, particularly during the Atlantean and post-Atlantean times, man traversed the returning path, reaching a point in the 18th and 19th centuries that mirrored the Lemurian epoch. The discovery of electricity by Galvani at this specific juncture wasn't mere chance, but a manifestation of mankind's cyclical journey through evolution. Life unfolds in cycles and rhythms, and humanity, in the heart of the materialistic age, remembered and retraced its earlier experiences. The impregnation of civilization with electricity during this period was a result of this collective memory, where the soul and spirit found echoes of their past encounters with electrical forces. These truths, elucidated here, demand clear envisioning for humanity to avoid descending into decadence in the future. The interplay of different currents in human evolution, exemplified by the Templars' aspirations and the concurrent Mephistophelian forces, shaped the course of history. While the Templars sought higher ideals, the Mephistophelian Ahrimanic forces, intertwined with their destiny, steered mankind towards materialism. Despite the challenges posed by materialism, it is recognized that these opposing forces are essential in the grand tapestry of human evolution. Under the influence of the inspirations from the Rosicrucian temples, certain enlightened minds grasped the significance of these principles, the intricate dance between opposing forces, the cyclical nature of evolution, and the collective memory embedded in humanity's spiritual journey were unveiled by those attuned to the spiritual insights emanating from these esoteric sources. A great poet like Goethe delves into the profound nature of the word, understanding it as a vessel through which spirit resounds. The term persona itself, originating from Latin, refers to the mask an actor wears, allowing their voice to resonate. The connection between the word and the concept of personhood is evident in this etymological insight. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and divine was the Word, as the spiritual significance of the word surpasses its mere linguistic function. The evolution of humanity, as acknowledged by Goethe and echoed in his work Faust, unfolds not only through benevolent forces, but also through the interplay of contrasting influences. Even when uttered partially unconsciously, Goethe's words bear profound truths inspired by higher realms. In the prologue in Heaven, when the Lord converses with Mephistopheles, a recognition of the latter's role in the cosmic order is expressed. Mephistopheles, embodying enticements and influences that give rise to what is perceived as evil, has a designated place in the intricate web of cosmic evolution. However, the Lord's attention turns to the true and genuine sons of the gods, the bearers of normal evolution, whose work harmoniously intertwines with the influence of the other stream. Addressing these divine beings, the Lord imparts a message that resonates with the essence of their purpose in guiding the course of cosmic unfolding. The poetic wisdom encapsulated in Faust encapsulates these profound insights into the intricate dance of forces shaping the destiny of humanity. The Lord's command to the genuine sons of heaven resonates with a profound call for rejoicing in the full living beauty and to be enfolded in bonds of love. The directive to arrest the ever-changing forms of seeming and enduring thought signifies a timeless and enduring principle. This enduring thought found expression when the principle of electricity was implanted into humanity, echoing in the discovery of this principle during the materialistic age. The lines encapsulate immeasurable depth, highlighting the significance of enduring thoughts that weave through the seeming changeful forms, revealing the eternal standing at rest. It becomes a soulful experience to recognize the mystery of enduring thoughts, understanding that in the world, eternal truths manifest as enduring thoughts, waiting for humanity to comprehend them at the opportune moment. Looking to the future, there is a hope that a right moment will come for mankind, a moment predestined to reverse materialism into its opposite. This turning point is where the great thought of the spiritual world can illuminate humanity. The preparation for this transformative moment is underway in those whose karma has led them to embrace spiritual science. The continuous task of spiritual science is to guide its work toward facilitating this transformation. In the materialistic age, dominated by enduring thoughts influenced by Ahriman Mephistopheles, the addition of spiritual enduring thoughts is crucial. As humanity stands on the cusp of profound change, spiritual science serves as the guiding light, ensuring that mankind does not overlook the opportunity to grasp these spiritual thoughts. The warning is clear and steadfast. There must be a collective effort to comprehend spiritual science, as failing to do so would mean letting a crucial moment of understanding slip away. The call is not to grow weary in emphasizing the importance of this spiritual insight for the evolution of humanity. And that's a wrap for today's learning journey. Thank you so much for joining us and experiencing all the excitement. If you had as much fun as we did, don't forget to give that like button a big thumbs up and subscribe.